What guides a regenerative response? While each regenerative response is unique and tailored, at the heart of a regenerative approach lie two key ingredients, which are ethics and principles.
Ethics are the values from which our visions, designs, and interventions emerge. They shape our decisions and the actions that result from these. Even while operating in volatile humanitarian contexts, where needs are urgent and the situation is continuously changing, we can ensure that our actions always come from a groundedness in earth care, people care, and fair share.
Principles help us understand and engage with the living world around us. They are ways of understanding how nature works. They also guide actions and interventions in specific ways. Let's start with ethics. A regenerative response is focused on care. Care for the people, care for the earth, and taking care that resources are shared fairly amongst everyone.
While different regenerative movements might frame these ethics differently, this is the language used by permaculture. Earth care, people care, and fair share. But why these three? Because if these three ethics are met, it helps life to thrive and health to be restored to living systems. Without these three ethics, a system can fall into unhealthy patterns, degradation, and shock.
These ethics are anchors and can keep us focused even in the midst of crisis. They remind us that our interventions should not only meet immediate needs, but also contribute to the long-term well-being of communities, ecosystems, and cultures.
Now moving on to principles. Nature-inspired principles help shape how these ethics inform practice and actions, and in regenerative responses, these principles are deeply inspired by nature. Let's look at a few of these principles. For example, diversity.
A healthy ecosystem is diverse and relies on its many different elements to thrive. Each plant, animal, or fungi has a role and function within a larger living system, and without the other elements around it, it cannot survive alone. Directly and indirectly, every plant, animal, or fungal species rely on other species in their lives. For example, plants grow fruits, birds eat the fruits, plants depend on the birds and animals as well as wind to help spread the seeds and reproduce. A diverse ecosystem where different plants, animals, and fungi exist alongside each other is generally more resilient than an area with a single crop such as a large-scale maize production, more able to respond to changes and shocks, and better able to meet the needs of its inhabitants, which are the plants, animals, including human and other lives too. Take a moment to think about how you can integrate diversity into your work. How might this apply to humanitarian settings? Humanitarian response also needs diversity, but large-scale rapid response often focuses on basic tents, imported food, and bottled water, none of which builds a healthy environment for a long-term future.
Cycling outputs. A healthy ecosystem cycles unused resources. Nothing in living systems is ever wasted. For example, in wild nature, dead plants degrade back into compost with the help of thousands of other organisms such as insects and bacteria in the soil who eat dead matter and allow it to return to reusable nutrients for other plants to absorb. Similarly, waste materials in a human community can be recycled. Food scraps can be collected at a community level and composted to add to and build healthy soil. Grey water from washing can be reused for other uses, and composting toilets can, in a short time, convert human manure and urine into safe, nutrient-rich fertilizers and soil builders if properly managed.
Catch and store energy. Human communities can also be designed to catch energy flows. Two major forms of freely available energy are the light and heat of the sun and the forces of the wind. For example, electric energy can be produced through solar or micro wind power. The windows of shelters can be directed towards the sunlight in cold climates or away from the sun in hot climates. Solar cookers can capture, direct, and intensify the heat of the sun to cook food.
Working with patterns. Many parts of nature also reuse patterns. For example, the veins in your arm distribute blood across the body in a way similar to how the branches of a tree distribute water. The circular trunks of trees have evolved to create sufficient strength to support its large structure. Young ferns like snail shells or flower seed heads are all spirals, an effective way of maximizing usable space in a small area. From small to big, we can also notice larger patterns in nature, such as seasonal shifts or patterns in how water moves across our landscape. In regenerative responses, it is useful to consider natural patterns in creating a design. By mapping information such as the movement of sunlight or water, or seasonal changes and challenges such as seasonal floods, it is possible to design in ways that work with nature rather than against it.
Observe and interact. This is often the first principle in our regenerative response, and where possible should help prepare in advance of potential hazards. Involving the community in collecting local information and mapping valuable resources will result in a wider source of information than a small group doing this alone, and help people prepare more effectively for disasters.
Regeneration isn't only about what we do, but equally how it's done. The process matters.
Bringing together the three central ethics with nature-inspired principles helps to move communities from acting in the short term towards designing the long term.
From extraction toward reciprocity,
From control toward collaboration.
and from degeneration toward regeneration.